a while to get into your stride, but you must be really pleased with how convincing it was in the end tonight.
Yes, of course. I think we started the game really well. We scored the goal and we let a little bit Wolves to come back to the game. We suffered in the last play of the first half, but then in the second half, with good pace, with good quality in the decision, we finished the game and also Wolves is in one difficult moment, so I think it was a good win.
You had the most shots of any game since you've been in charge. I know you can only play against the opposition in front of you, but did that show perhaps you're getting more clinical?
No, we scored 4, but we had a lot of shots, so I cannot make that connection with more clinical. I think we improved a lot. If you compare last season and this season, we are creating so much more chances and score more goals and having more real situations of danger. So I'm really pleased with that.
You brought Mason Mount into the team. You must be really pleased with the way he worked with the front three and the way they were particularly fluid throughout the match.
Yeah, they have the quality to do that. They can change positions, especially if you play a guy like Mateus Cunha. He moves more than a normal 9 or typical 9, so we took advantage of that.
If there was a concern, it must have been that you only went in 1-1 at half-time. Were the words needed to be said that you had let Wolves back into the game then?
Yeah, well, that was clear. It was so clear that the players felt that we scored a goal, we have the game control, we are creating chances, no chances for the opposition, but we need to understand that in our moment anything can happen, and it doesn't matter the result, we need to push forward, and we did that in the second half.
And was the early goal in the second half perhaps key to that and giving the players the belief to push on?
Yeah, but I felt since the first minute that if it's not sooner, we would win the game. So I really enjoyed the way we played the second half.
And looking forward, really important to build on this now and put in another performance like that with that creativity.
Yeah, every week that we win a game, I have that question. So we need to win the next one. This one is in the past. Let's go.
Thanks for your time, Ruben.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations. How much did you need that second half performance?
Yeah, massively. I thought the first half we obviously had loads of chances, created a lot going forward, and we didn't take as many as we should. And then we let them back in with a little bit of sloppy play at the end of the first half. It was disappointing going into the second half, going into changes. As a group, we're disappointed, but that we were frustrated, even though I thought we were playing very well. The gaffer had some things to say, and then it was down to us to go and react and go out there second half and put on a proper performance like I think we did in the first, and yeah, we did that.
That feeling that you had at half-time, that's been the feeling the last few weeks in some ways with the results that you've had. Do you feel like you've got that out of your system now with the way that you put that game to bed?
Yeah, we can't let that creep in. As you said, it's been a little bit over the last couple of weeks, but we can't let that happen. In a game like this, we can't let it happen. We got mentally stay strong throughout the game, even if they have a few chances, stay in the game and defend as a team, as an 11, do everything we can to not let that ball go in the back of our net. We obviously switched off and they scored, so listen, it doesn't matter who you're playing in the Premier League, they can score, they can create. But as I said, then second half, all our focus was just be ruthless, finish the game, finish our chances and go forward and attack with purpose.
You moved up to 6th place. You've had the opportunity to climb the table a few times in recent weeks. You've taken it tonight. It's only 1 point outside the top 4. That's a bit more like it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Listen, we know we need to win games, and we should have won more recently. So yeah, it's tough when we don't perform to the best of our ability and we drop some points, because we know what we can do when we're at full flow. So yeah, it's good to push up, get the 3 points, but we can't stop now. We need to keep going.
A win, a goal, and the Player of the Match award as well. Well done.
Thank you very much.
For United and Mason Mount. I mean, 4 goals is a bonus for them, 3 points. But I must say, on the other side of it, they've still only kept 1 clean sheet all season. They've conceded 22 goals as well. Is that why they're not higher up the table and they haven't got the consistency they're after?
Yeah, they would have liked to have kept a clean sheet tonight, I think, going to Wolves. And I don't think they really gifted Wolves many chances. Just that one later on in the first half, which they got punished for. But I think overall, within the game, they defended pretty well. kept Wolves to very few chances. And teams in the Premier League, like Mason Mount said there, they are going to create chances at times, and it's about as a unit, as a team, staying compact and defending well when you can. And just tonight they just switched off for that brief moment at the end of the first half,
which has been a reoccurring theme. And when James's Everton frustrated them, and West Ham did in the last game, that's why they're frustrated. They're not higher in the table, but at least tonight they responded in the second half and got the job done.
Yeah, they certainly did. And it was really evident right from the first couple of minutes of the second half that this was going to be one-way traffic. They got in once or twice before they actually scored. And Wolves all of a sudden played a high line, had trouble defending the numbers that flooded forward. So, yeah, I mean, we all know in terms of the players, Manchester United have got a lot to offer. We see it in glimpses, and there's been plenty of false dawns for years and years and years now. But that's a nice position. 6th in the league, a point behind Champions League places is something that all of a sudden it gets you up in the morning thinking, come on, lads. When you're floating around 15th, 16th like they were last season, it's demoralising. You don't even look forward to playing football. It's just horrible. You want the ground to swallow you up. So at least now they've got something to play for, and this is a bit more like it. Still a long way to go, of course, but signs are promising tonight.
Yeah, and they got the reaction, as Mason Mount was talking about there, in the second half, and got the goals, and he was involved, obviously scoring one, creating another. Brian Mbeumo has been a big success this season as well, hasn't he? Another goal for him.
Yeah, and we, as Michael said, we saw the space that United were finding in behind the back three or back five, as you would say. You could see here Dalot exploiting that space in behind in a square pass to Mbeumo. You just see Mosquera, who's the right centre half. He sort of reads the initial pass, but then he gets intercepted by, I think it's Krejci. Sort of gets his feet sort of tangled up until he turns the wrong way and loses Dalot. And as you see just earlier in the clip, Agbadou tries to sort of step and to intercept the pass, and he just doesn't really get in the line of the ball, and then it just leaves the space wide open for United to expose and Mbeumo to tap it in.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good goal from Manchester United's point of view. It's quick, it's decisive, unselfish at the end. But, James makes a couple of really good points from a defensive point of view. I think he just lost his... Mosquera, when he spins around, he loses all his momentum, doesn't he? And then he can't really chase back. And he's unfortunate, really, because I think you made the point, when the ball was almost deflected, he's probably spinning around to think, we're back in possession, but all of a sudden it dropped to a Manchester United player and he lost all his momentum. Here it is, just there on the right-hand side of the screen. He almost does a 360 spin, doesn't he?
Yeah, he tracks Dalot initially, and as I said, there's a pass gets intercepted, he's almost trying to find the ball again, probably ends up turning off the wrong shoulder to try and find where the ball is, and before he knows it, Dalot's carried on making his run, and it's been slipped into by Cunha, and exposed the sort of back three. Keeper comes rushing out, and an easy tap in for Mbeumo.
Mason Mount got the player of the match there. Important for him to be bright, get back in the team, stay injury-free, and he's scoring goals at the moment as well.
I'm pleased for him. I mean, he's had a real tough time since he's been, like a lot of players at Manchester United have had, but, he's had injury problems, he's had not been in favour, let's say, but he's really starting in the last, probably this season actually, to get into the manager's thoughts for a starting berth, and he's been starting a fair bit. Again, from a defensive point of view here, James, where do you think Wolves can do better?
If I reflect to the game that we played against him, I was constantly just watching where Bruno Fernandes was and just asking people to get close to him. If you just see early in that clip there, Bruno manages to get himself 5 yards. No one gets close enough to the ball, and a player of that quality is going to find the pass. It's a good run by Mason Mount into the box, just wasn't really very well tracked. You're probably expecting more from your right back to track the runner on the inside, and a good finish, and game's out of sight by then.
You say keep a close eye on Bruno Fernandes. There's a reason for that. We all know some assists are questionable, but not really with Bruno Fernandes. But he has now contributed to the most in the Premier League this season. Bruno Fernandes ahead of the likes of Cherki, Kudos, Doku. Your own Jack Grealish is on that list as well. He's always alive and looking for something, isn't he? Yeah,
we said it in game. He's at the heart of everything for Manchester United. He seems to be, every time there's a goal involvement, a cross that causes a problem for the other team, a pass, it always seems to be Bruno at the heart of it. And you see, you give him 5-10 yards of space there, he's going to find the pass. So you need people as close to him as possible at all times, and Wolves didn't manage to do that tonight.
Now, we found the fourth in the penalty spot. before we see him converting it, there's a little bit of a discussion to have, shall we say, about the awarding of it, considering one wasn't given in the first half. But let's take this one in isolation first. Any issue?
No
Good
issue.
use of VAR?
Good use of VAR, yes. I thought it was quite similar in many ways. The only thing that I thought was different is this definitely hits him below the shoulder. It's sort of on the forearm stroke elbow, so it's definitely in a position, no question about it. But I think it was similar in a way. Both, sticking their arm out when the ball was heading towards goal. I mean, I thought they were both penalties. I probably thought that was more of a penalty just because it hit him a lot lower on the arm.
And Bruno Fernandes dispatched it, but is that a good use of VAR for you?
I think we think that both of them are penalties. So I'm confused as to why one is and one isn't. But for me, that's a guaranteed penalty and easily dispatched by Bruno.
Okay, so let's have a look at the one that wasn't given in the first half against Agbadou.
Michael's got this at 70%.
Yeah.
So what's the Mosquera
You were
one?
99.
So I think they're very similar. The only difference is that hits him a little bit higher.
Half an inch?
Does it hit him on the badge? Listen, I think it's a penalty. Stop shaking your head at me. Yeah. I think it's a penalty, all right? But we all know the rules, Steve. We all know that it's got to be, I mean, that hits him low. That is definitely a penalty. I think the other one is a penalty, but I think that hits him so low and he sticks his arm out. That's undisputed. As I say, I think they're both a penalty. I'm just trying to understand from a VAR's point of view why they wouldn't give it. And I think one question mark could be, was it too high? I don't think it was, but I think that's possibly one question. But no, I thought they were both penalties.
Yeah. Just watching that one back there, Bree, it looks like he maybe flinches at that one a little bit, whereas Agbadou's arm was maybe just a bit out. He actually looks like he throws his arm out a touch more just as the ball gets towards him. Maybe just an instinctual reaction to that. But yeah, for me, both are penalties.
Manchester United made the second half theirs. They're the only team that scored. They win 4-1. Thanks for coming back with us, Paul Burmeister, Lee Dixon, Robbie Mustoe. This match had our attention right after halftime, but the difference in quality, Robbie, showed up right after that.
Yeah, it really did, and that's what we expected the whole game. There's still some wrinkles out there for Ruben Amorim to kind of smooth out a little bit. We saw a little bit that first half, but the second half is what we would expect. There's quality players at Manchester United. You'd think of Mbeumo and Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes and Cunha, quality players. When you play against a team like Wolverhampton Wanderers that are trying to be expansive and they are so wide open and stretched, those quality players are going to do their thing and they're going to hurt you. So second half was like, that's better, Man United. Now they're up to 6th place. Now it's glass half full because that's where they are.
Back to the question I asked a few hours ago, half full or half empty. Right now for Manchester United, feeling half full with that place in 6th. But the second half showing, Lee, it really just felt like it was a matter of time until then.
Yeah, I do feel a little bit sorry for the Wolves players because I think the effort is there. They're trying for their manager, but you can just see that they're just not quite good enough, both tactically, physically. They're doing their bit. But if you're playing against quality players like Manchester United, like Robbie said, you just get picked off. And if you're not together, and we saw so many spaces on that pitch today, and that was the thing we said before the game, and they're going to have a go. Some of them had a go at the wrong time and left other players behind, left big gaps in the middle of the park. And if you got Fernandes and the quality of Cunha, then they're going to pick you off, and they did that. And it 1-1 seemed like it was going to last for a little bit longer, but as soon as that quality was put to the front from United, it was just one-way traffic.
It's been said a number of times today, and here, and also when you're listening to the match live, they haven't won yet. They've given up the most goals in the league, Robbie. They've scored the fewest. I want to get back to this point you're making about them being stretched out and not compact enough. What does that mean for both sides?
Well, it means for Wolverhampton Wanderers, when you're not compact, the opponents are going to have space. And the better players are going to use that space. They're going to be rubbing their hands together. This is great. And Bruno gets free, Mason Mount. But these are the details of the game today, Paul. But the bigger picture for Wolverhampton Wanderers is that they're in this situation because the ownership of the club has sold off their best players for multiple seasons. You can't keep doing that and expect to be competitive. Now you're in a situation where, as Lee says, the quality isn't there. and they're just trying to find a way to entertain the fans, give them some hope. Difficult job for Rob Edwards, Lee.
Manchester United delivered a powerful performance with a 4-1 win over Wolverhampton Wanderers in a match filled with intensity, drama, and goals. United started confidently, and Bruno Fernandes opened the scoring with a composed finish midway through the first half. Just when it seemed United would go into the break ahead, Wolves struck back before halftime through Jan-Rickner Bellegarde, energizing the home crowd and giving the bottom-place side a brief lifeline. The second half told a very different story. United came out with determination and quickly regained control. Brian Mbeumo restored the lead with a clinical strike, showcasing United's attacking sharpness. Moments later, Mason Mount added a third with a well-taken volley, effectively ending Wolves' hopes of a comeback. Fernandes completed his brace late in the game from the penalty spot, sealing a dominant victory and highlighting his importance in United's midfield. For Wolves, the result intensified their ongoing struggles, on and off the pitch, with fan frustration evident throughout the match. The win lifts Manchester United higher up the table and provides a much-needed confidence boost, while Wolves face increasing pressure and a bleak outlook if their form doesn't change soon.